How's it going, my beautiful soul? I hope you are having a lovely day. So for me, that is so cute. I just saw a blue jay. Anyway, what's happening here is I was just thinking. I was sitting in my bed. Now today, I allowed myself to sleep in late this morning. I felt that my body really needed some rest, and I decided to just go ahead and just allow my body to get the rest that it needs. And not only does your body need rest in moments like that, but your mind as well. And I was just thinking about how I was operating over the past few days this week, and how majority of the time I was up and about. As soon as I woke up, I would spring out of bed, I would go around the house, do some housework, do some chores, some cleaning, keeping myself productive, moving around, pacing around, not really sitting still. And then I had to think, maybe this is why I've been so tired and why I've been having trouble sleeping. Because maybe I'm moving just a little bit too much. Now, although it's good for us to stay productive and to do work that we need to do and to not stay idle, it's good to do that. But also at the same time, we got to make sure that we are not overdoing it and making sure that there is a unique balance between the two. Because if we're always constantly up and moving and working around, that's all work, no play. And in The Shining, it says, all work, no play makes Jack a dull boy. Well, instead, just place your own name in that. All work, no play makes you a dull person. And we have to think that we can't go through life just working all the time and being all super serious and not giving ourselves time to actually enjoy life, to actually have fun. We must remember that in taking breaks and taking it easy on ourselves and taking breaks, having fun, that is still a form of growth as well. That's still a form of self-care. Because you gotta give yourself that balance between the two. And if there is no balance that's there, you're going to get burnt out. Or just think of it as the opposite way. If you spend way too much time playing and idling, just not doing much, not being productive, then at that point you're stagnating. You're in stagnation. You're not moving very much anywhere. You're staying in the same place. So you see as if you need both. You need to move. You need to be productive. But you also need to stay calm. You need to stay at peace. You need to take a break. You need to sit back and relax. And oftentimes we think, or we may wonder, we may question, is it even okay for us to sit down and to relax and to chill and to just kind of kick it for a little bit? And we think that if we don't, then that we're deemed as lazy or unmotivated or a person that just doesn't want to work. But in reality, that's not necessarily the case. A lot of us like to work. A lot of us like to do things. A lot of us like to be productive. And especially when it's working and being productive on doing stuff that we like to do, we enjoy it. But at the same time, there has to come a balance. Even working a job that you absolutely love can often get tiring and also get draining at times, and you may want to take a break. Now, one thing that I was thinking about while I was lying in my bed before I got up, now remember I mentioned earlier that I wanted to give myself a little bit of extra time to sleep because I realized I was tired. And I'm thinking, if I want to tackle this day the best way that I can and get work done and get things checked off my list and be productive, if I want to do that, then I have to make sure that I am recharged, that I'm refreshed, replenished. I just saw a cardinal fly past my window. There we go. Synchronicity. I'm at the right place at the right time. Angels are watching over me. And earlier I saw a blue jay. So I'm thinking that if I want to be able to be my best self and be able to show up, to be productive, to do whatever work that I want to do for myself, that I have to make sure that I am rested enough. And how can you make sure that you are rested enough? You give yourself the rest that you need. Plain and simple. Now we have to think of what rest actually does for the body, what it does for the mind, because everything is connected to our soul. Our soul is attached to a human body having this human experience. Our soul is. And our soul is the driving force for everything in our life. It's the driving force for how we go about our daily life. Our soul is the one that is fully aware of what's going on, even if our human brain can't always comprehend it. But your soul knows, and your soul pulls you, your soul pushes you, your soul brings you to different places that you may not realize that you need to be, but your soul ultimately knows what it needs to do. And if your soul is feeling like you need to rest, feeling like you need to just lay down a bit, rest your brain, it's going to send signals to your body, to your brain and to your body. Essentially, it sends signals to your brain first and then goes to your body, but you get the idea. So first what it'll do is it'll send signals to your brain and it'll tell you, you know what, you are tired. You need to rest. So it'll then send signals to the rest of your body, telling your body you need to rest. Now we got to think, what does rest actually do for us? Rest does way much for our body and our soul and our mind than anything else. And I think we sometimes forget this. And, a lot of people, they talk about being super successful and they talk about how they've worked so many hours and they've cut back on sleep and they've done all this and what yada yada. And although that's good, and although that's something that they wanted for themselves and it worked for them, but it can sort of give like a misinterpretation, because other people that are wanting to be successful and striving for success, they may think, in order for me to be successful, do I have to completely change everything? Do I have to sacrifice hours of sleep so I'm spending more hours of my day working? Do I have to make myself a complete robot at this point? Or if I sleep 7 hours a night, does that mean that I'm not going to be successful? I would have to respectfully disagree. Because here's how I feel. I feel that productivity is based on the quality of work, not the quantity of how long you've been working. Let me say that again. Productivity is based mainly off of the quality of work that you do, not the quantity of how long you work. A person can work 10 hours or a person can work 100 hours and still get the same results. A person can work 40 hours this week full time, and another person was only here 25 hours this week because they missed 2 days. And that person that worked 25 hours that week, they got more work done that week than the person that worked 40 hours. So what does it tell you? The society itself has programmed us to believe that the more hours that you work, the more productive you are, the more driven you are, the more motivated, the more disciplined you are, or the more successful you'll be if you work so many hours and just suck yourself dry. It was a creation made by the Matrix in order to enslave us, making it seem like we have to always be working. No. The Matrix was created to enslave the human race, for civilization itself to exist the way that it's existing now. It wanted us to not be elevated. It wanted us to not be aware, to not be conscious. So it programmed us to eliminate that conscious. It wanted us to have our subconscious mind, which controls 90% of our thoughts. It wanted us to be programmed and brainwashed in such a way that we easily believe something that really isn't true. Think of how they program us when it comes to the school system. Go to school for 12 years. And the more you are in school, the more workload you get. You had more workload in middle school than you did elementary school, and way more work in high school than you did in middle school. And don't get me started on if you've gone to a private school. That workload is tremendous. And we got to think. I went to a private school in high school, and the workload was ridiculous. Wanting to be involved in extracurricular activities, I was in band, which was like a full-time job. And then having to do all of this extra work for all of these classes because it's a college prep school and it's getting you ready for it. Now, although it did prepare me for the workload in college, which I will say that I'm grateful for that experience. But looking back now, I see it was too much for someone my age. For between the ages of 14 to 17, why are you overworking them so much? I can recall a story when I was a junior in high school, and we were reading books, reading novels throughout the semester. And there was this one book we were reading, I think it was The Natural. And we were reading The Natural, and this one week we had to read, about 12 pages in that book, read and annotate, take notes, and that was like our homework. And I remember this one day, it was like a Monday, and I believe that like Wednesday or so was when that assignment was due. So Monday I was trying to get this done, and I sat there at our dining room table with that book, with my pen in my hand, trying to read, but it's like my brain would not let me. I tried to skim through the words. I was not focused at all, and I sat there for a few minutes wondering, why am I not focused? Why am I not motivated? Why can I not what am I not getting? What's happening here? I really was sitting in the moment wondering what was going on. So finally, I just sat there. And this is when I really started to listen to my intuition a little bit more, because at that age, I was a junior. I was only 16. I hadn't turned 17 yet, because my birthday's at the end of the school year. So I'm 16, tired, exhausted because of all the work that I've had to do. I was in band, and I believe it was marching season around that time. So marching season just really drains you. And I remember sitting there at that table and wanting to get this work done, because I knew I had to get this done. There was an assignment that was due. I didn't want to miss out on points and make my grades suffer. But at that point, I was torturing myself. I was forcing myself to do something that my energy just would not allow me to do. So finally, I heard my voice inside my head say, go lay down. Go get some rest. Go sleep. That's what you need. And I remember checking the clock. It was about 7 o'clock or so. It was 7 o'clock. I had never fallen asleep that early. Well, for recently. Maybe as a baby, but it's different. Around that age, I hadn't fallen asleep that early. So I go lay down in my bed, thinking that I'm going to just take a quick little nap. So I rest for about a good 4 hours or so, and then I wake up, and All of a sudden it's 11 p.m. And I wake up and I realize I'm still really tired. I am exhausted. So at that point, I just roll back over and go back to sleep and sleep the rest of the night. Now it's high school. We got to be there early. So I'm waking up around maybe 6 o'clock in the morning. So that showed that I was asleep for about 10 hours I was asleep? Slept for a good 10 hours. And when I tell you, it was probably the best sleep I had gotten in so long. And at that point, what I did is that was a powerful moment for me. And this is why I will always remember that. Is because I completely said, you know what? This right here, this homework, this is going to be put on the back burner. That's not a priority right now. I put all of my forced priorities on me, on the back burner, and put myself first. And said, I need to rest. And I let myself rest. And when I did that, I was showing myself that when you take care of yourself, you take care of your body, you take care of your mind, you're taking care of your soul. And that's far much more valuable than getting all these assignments done. That's far more valuable than proving to yourself that you can do this. You know that you can do it. You know you can get assignments done. But why would you rush yourself to do it? Who are you trying to prove it to? And I'm thinking now, at this age, me being in my early 20s and going into career life, the same rules are going to apply. You're going to have your own things that you want to do, your own work that you want to accomplish, your own assignments that you want to get done. But then you got to stop and think, do I even have the energy to do it? Is my body able to function properly enough to get this done? Is my mind rested enough and calm enough where I can channel a lot of energy and use my brain to do all this? If the answers are no to any of those questions, then the next thing that you want to do is give yourself a break. Just rest. Just rest. Because resting yourself is really preparing yourself for the work that you have to do. You know, women, for example, we tend to sleep more. We do sleep more. And women's brains are functioning at such a high frequency. It's operating in such a way, channeling so much energy more often than a male's brain. So when things get stressful for us, when things get emotional, when things get overwhelming, we think, you know what? In order for me to be able to handle all of that, I got to go rest up first. Let me go rest up and then I can come back and do what I need to do. That's why we sleep. So we don't necessarily sleep to avoid our problems. No, we sleep so we can better handle our problems. That way we can better tackle our problems. Because what would we be able to do if we're trying to handle a problem and our energy is not in the right place? Or if we are, in a sense, too exhausted to do something. How are we going to be able to do what we want to do? We got to rest. There's nothing wrong with resting. And in fact, resting is probably the best form of self-care that you can give yourself. I mean, think about it. Rest itself is healing. When you have a cold and you're sick, you know, right now there's a coronavirus going around right now. And I had a couple of family members that actually caught the corona. And it's a blessing that they overcame the virus and that they're alive and they're healthy and they're well. And it's even more of a blessing that even being around them, that I did not contract it, because completing that social distance for a reason. But what I can recall is that when my family members that caught the corona were going through that process, they were saying that majority of that time, they slept days away. It was kind of funny because when my dad caught the corona, it was around my birthday. My birthday is the end of May. And it was so funny because like the week leading up to my birthday, he was sick. And he slept so much that he actually forgot what day it was. And what had happened is I had spoke to him the day before my birthday. I called him up and I said, hey, I know you've been sick and I wanted to just check in on you, see how you were doing. And I think a few days before I had called him, he sounded very, very weak, sounded very sick. I could hear it all in his voice. And then a few days later, he sounded a lot better. Like I could hear him more clearly. He didn't sound as congested. And he was telling me, he was like, yeah, honey, I just was sleeping majority of the time. Sleeping the days away. Sleeping off all that illness. And I think that he had slept so much that he didn't even realize that it was the day before my birthday. And even the day of my birthday, I think he was still kind of groggy and he didn't realize what day it was. So he didn't even reach out to me until later on in the evening when he finally remembered. And at that point, I couldn't even be mad. I wasn't mad at all. Not at all. And I realized that day before, I'm like, he's probably not going to even remember. And it's okay if he doesn't, because it's a lot going on in the world right now. I won't be offended. But luckily he did. And he reached out, he texted me and wished me a happy birthday. So that was great. But the point of this story is, what he did to help himself was sleeping. All he did was sleep and he got himself better. I've had moments where I've been sick. And this one time I was in college, a junior in college, and I had strep throat for the first time. And I ended up sleeping all one day on like a Saturday or a Sunday. I slept the whole entire day. And then after that, I ended up feeling so much better. That's why they tell you to rest, because rest is healing. Or even when you're going through your spiritual awakening and you're getting so many downloads, you're understanding the world from a different perspective. You're understanding your energy and your body from a different way. You're opening up your eyes. You're opening up your third eye. You're seeing the world for what it is. It's draining. It's tiring to see everything for what it is. That's why you need to rest. And you may realize going through your spiritual awakening that you rest a lot. You may have like so low energy that all you can do is just lay in your bed. But the rest is so important because it helps you. It heals you. And it gets you prepared for everything that comes afterwards. Just recently, I watched the movie The Matrix, the first one, for the very first time. And I'm glad at the time that I saw this movie, because if I would have seen it any earlier, I probably wouldn't have understood it or was able to get the movie. But I needed to be awake already to see it for what it was, because it made so much sense. I mean, I love the movie. And what I would notice is that Neo, a lot of times he was resting throughout the movie, and his people that were helping him were saying, rest, Neo, you need it. And it just reminded me of how much this is so true when you go through your spiritual awakening, that you need to rest. You need to rest, relax, sleep, give yourself what you need. And I'm here today to tell us that it is okay to give yourself some rest. Oh, but we're afraid that we're going to be seen as lazy, or we're going to be afraid that we're going to be seen as unmotivated, or we're going to be seen as a person that doesn't want to work. Who cares what anyone thinks of you? Don't worry what they think of you, because they don't know what's truly going on inside your mind, body, and soul. Or who cares what society thinks? Society has programmed us so much that going to do what we should do feels like a burden, and doing what we should not do feels like the right choice. That's how brainwashed we are. And I kept thinking to myself, me wanting to give myself time to rest, or even just take a whole day where I don't do anything, I felt this anxiety just burning up inside me, like I shouldn't do it. But I was realizing, where was the anxiety coming from? It was coming from societal pressures. Societal pressures are put into everyone around you, even people in your household, your family members. And if those people are pressured by society, they will project their own pressures onto you. So because they think that you have to always be moving and always be working, when they see somebody moving different, resting, going slower, they're going to project that onto you and make it seem like you're doing something wrong. And that you should get up, you should move, and they make you feel bad. They ridicule you for it, and which creates even more anxiety. But why should we be that way? Why is it looked at as a sin to just sit and rest? To just not do anything, to just sit and be present? Why does it look like a sin? It's not. Society, the matrix, has made it to be that way. And to my next point, rest, yes, is important, but what is even more important, or equally important, is being present. Being present. We can see that as we become adults, we are constantly bombarded with so many thoughts. We're worrying about the future. We're focusing too much on the past, that we're not focusing on the present moment. But if we can think about those times when we were, teenagers, kids. I was thinking of this earlier. When I was in middle school, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, and we had days off of school, did I ever worry about what school was going to be like the next day? Or worry about all this homework that I had to do? No. Was I dwelling on yesterday, dwelling on what happened at school, dwelling on the past, dwelling on that one girl being mean to me again, dwelling on your friends being... No, I wasn't worried about any of that. All I was focused on was the present moment and understanding that right now, I have a break from all of that outside stuff, and I can just sit in this house with my sister. My mom's at work. I could just sit here in the house and just enjoy myself. And what I noticed is my sister and I, we're a year apart. She would spend most of the time talking on the phone to her friends. So that was her way of being present. Her and her friends would sit on the phone for hours on end just talking. She's still like that to this day. But she's always been that way. And for me, for example, I was the type where I would just do what felt good in the moment. So if that was me going on the computer, going and playing games on the computer, having fun, enjoying living in the moment, I would do that. Or if it was watching a TV show or watching a movie, it was me being in the moment, enjoying the time. If it was me saying, you know what, I'm going to go walk up to the store and walk up to the restaurant and get me something to eat. Whatever I did in the present moment was what I needed to do for myself. And I realized that as I went about my day at that age, you weren't too focused on the future. You weren't dwelling on the past. You were focusing on the now. And I realized that days seemed to go by slower that way when you were focusing on the present moment. But when we are too anxious about tomorrow gets here quicker. But when we're focused on the now and we enjoy the now stays. And I realized that as we went about our day, how our mood was, fluctuated and all of that. But I realized that we were able to control our moods, able to control how we felt, controlling our thoughts, because we were focusing on the now. When I was focusing on the now, I wasn't dwelling on the past, dwelling on the pain and the trauma from the bullying. I wasn't focused on that. I wasn't too worried and anxious about what's school going to be like, how much homework am I going to get? I have to worry about this. I wasn't worried about that. And I think that when we are children, when we are teenagers, that's a very beautiful time, because we really embody living in the moment. If it's anybody that can be present, it is children. Children can be present easier than adults can be present because children don't have as many worries as adults do. But still at the same time, even if we have a lot of priorities and responsibilities to think of, we can still be present and think, well, I do have all these responsibilities, but let's just focus this one day at a time. Let's just get through this day. Get through this day. That's all it takes. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift. That's what they call it, the present. Today is a gift. Today, right now, is a gift. The sun is shining through the window right now. Confirmation, the Lord himself just shining through this window. Thank you, Lord, for being here right now. As I'm seeing that as we are going through this pandemic, we are on a global shutdown. The world itself has shut down. We don't have to worry about tomorrow. We don't. Because tomorrow's not here yet. We're not even sure what's going to happen tomorrow. We just inaugurated a new president. We're not sure what the government is doing with the puppets that they call presidents and vice president. We're not sure what they're going to do. We're not worried about the past. Worried about what happened yesterday. Worried about what happened at the Capitol because that's no longer existing anymore. It's gone. It's over and done with. We're not worrying about that. But we are focusing and worrying about the present moment. And I think that's what we should do. Continue to do. Especially right now, while we are in this global pandemic, while the world is shut down, that's what we can implement into our daily routine, is take this one day at a time. The way I look at it, this pandemic is not going to end anytime super soon. This could last 24 months. So that's 2 years. We're already in the year 2. This whole world can still be shut down the rest of this year. We never know. But what's the point of worrying about the future when we could just focus on the present? So by the time the world opens back up, we're like, okay, fine. Now we can sort of implement ourselves back into the world. But I think what we're trying to do here is that we're trying to exist in the present world by still trying to keep the past world in existing as well. That's why people like to keep moving. That's why people like to work so much, work so hard, do so many things. It's the world that worked for is no longer in existence. And that's a big, tough pill to swallow. The world we once knew is no longer in existence. It's gone. It's over. That world has ended. This new world is beginning. It's a new start. It's a fresh start. Now, it's going to take a little bit of time to balance things back out, but it's a new start. Imagine when you have a building and you're getting ready to tear a building down and rebuild it, rebuild something new. When when they tear that building down and it's nothing but rubble and rock and debris everywhere, it's going to take a minute to clean up all that debris. And then after a while, then we can start to reconstruct and rebuild. I feel 2020 was the year of cleaning up all the debris. Cleaning it all up. So let's sweep this all up. Let's fix it. Let's clean it. Now, let's start reconstructing. Let's start building the new. That's what this year's for. Building the new. Now it takes years or so to build a building. We got to just be patient and give ourselves the time to do so. And what I truly feel and believe can help us throughout this pandemic is to take things one day at a time and to just be present. You may have a project that you're wanting to start. You may have a business that you're wanting to start. Don't rush yourself. Don't rush yourself. Give yourself maybe a time frame. But also at the same time, go with your soul's pace. And if you focus on the present moment of, let me just focus on building this business right now. Let me just focus on it and work on it. Let me focus on this project. Let me focus on this piece of music, whatever it is. Let me focus on this right here, right now. You'd be surprised by how much work you can get done when you're not worrying about deadlines or dates, but you're just worrying on getting it finished. It's the quality, not the quantity. And I think as we also go through this pandemic and we go through our everyday lives, the things going on in the world, I think it's best to not watch the news as much, my opinion. The news is just draining your energy and feeding you so much fear and junk food that it's not good. Maybe have some days where you don't even turn the TV on at all and just enjoy the silence. Just be present. And when you can just be present and you can go through life by thinking, what should I do right here, right now? And you follow that pull, you're going to be following your soul's guidance, your soul's path to your soul's purpose. But when you're focusing too much on the future, focusing too much on the past, it's impossible for you to remain on your path because you're pulled in different directions. Because if you're focusing on the past, you're going backwards. If you're focusing on the future, you're going forward in the wrong direction. But if you focus on the present, you're traveling forward, traveling steadily in the right direction. Being present also means that whatever it is that you think you may want to do in the day, you may not get to every single checkpoint off that list. You may not check off every single item, and that's okay. Because what you did is you focus on the present moment. You did what was most important. You did what you needed to do. You did what you could do. And when you did this, you did everything you needed for that day. So what? You had 7 things on your list, but you only got to 4 of them. That's okay. What's the rush? No one's going to come beating down your door because you didn't get all 7 things accomplished today. The world is shut down for a reason, for us to just take a deep breath and relax ourselves. The world shut down for a reason so that we can slow down. When we slow down our thoughts. We slow down our movements. We slow down our body, our behaviors, our actions. We slow everything down. We slow our life down. We realize we have a much better handle and control and direction of our life when we are slowing down. Always moving slows you down. This is why this whole pandemic was created. It's actually happening for us and not to us. It's happening for us. Because we're seeing how much more enjoyable life can be when we're focusing on the now and not tomorrow, or not dwelling on yesterday. So as I wrap up, my beautiful soul, I want to thank you so much for listening to this rant here. But I want to say to you is that from here on out, going forward, I challenge you 2 things. 1, rest when needed. Rest when necessary. So rest when necessarily needed. If you need rest, if you need to sleep, it doesn't matter what time of day it is. If you have to sleep in late, if you have to go to bed early, if you have to take you a midday nap, if you need rest, baby, give yourself that rest. Your higher self is going to thank you. My second challenge to you is to be present. Don't focus on what tomorrow will bring, because we don't know what tomorrow will bring. Even the Bible talks about for us to not worry about tomorrow. But that's not here yet. The Bible wants us to focus on the day, focus on the present moment, and to not dwell on what happened in the past. Oh, yesterday you had a bad day. Yesterday you got into an argument with someone in your family. Yesterday you had a nasty day at work. It doesn't matter anymore. What matters is what's happening now. Just be present. Go throughout your day by just being present. Now, how can you do this? It's really just controlling your thoughts. It's like, especially when you wake up in the morning and as soon as you wake up, you got all these thoughts of where you want to go. At that point, just baby, take a deep breath. Calm the mind and think, okay, let me just be happy that I'm awake right now. Let me just thank the Lord that I am awake. And go about your daily routine. Think, what do I need to do now? Okay, I need to make up my bed. Okay, I just woke up. Let me go brush my teeth. Let me go wash my face. Let me go make my morning coffee or my morning tea. Go about the present moment doing what you need for yourself in that moment. And when you continue each moment by moment throughout the day, you're staying present. You're doing exactly what your soul needs to do. And you'll realize that you are much more at peace throughout the day when you do this. You'll realize that you're much more attentive. You're much more alert when you do this. Because oftentimes when we are focusing too much on the future, we're not being present. Our mind is somewhere else. We're physically here, but our mind is not here. So train yourself to be physically present and mentally present. Now, this will not happen overnight. This will not be an instant change. It's a gradual change. But if you commit to doing this every single day, you're going to get yourself into that habit of doing this. And you'll see that you'll be able to handle your day of being present. Handle your day of resting when necessary. It's just making small little tweaks within your daily routine, creating new habits that make the world of a difference. Now, one last thing before I let you go is I want to invite you to sign up for my email list. Sign up for my email list. I'm going to be dropping some goods very soon. Now, I can't tell you what that is just yet, but I'm going to be dropping some goods soon. And if you want to be one of the first people to find out about what those goods are, then please sign up for my email list. I am a coach for life, for twin flames especially. There's going to be some twin flame goods that I'm going to be dropping very soon. So if you want to be one of the first people to know about that, then please sign up for my email list. And you can do this by going to my social media. If you follow me on TikTok at Terriann Belle 3, or if you follow me on Twitter or Instagram, Terriann Belle, my link in my bio, there's a tab at the very bottom that allows you to sign up for my email list. And it's easy. All you gotta do is just put it in. So I encourage you, if you want to catch up, if you don't want to miss out on these goods, go ahead and sign up for my email list. All right, so I want to just thank you again so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening to this. And I'll catch you on the next episode. Peace out, my beautiful soul. Thank you so much for listening to this video. If you like this video, please leave a like, share with your friends, and subscribe to my channel so you can catch more future content. Thank you.